weebs, as the legend says, when the world needed him most, the Avatar vanished. And I definitely feel that is true over the last couple of years because I have just been dying for some new Avatar content. But it looks like our hunger, our satiation, our need for new Avatar content is definitely going to be happening real soon. So let's get into all the news coverage, everything that's been coming out of San Diego Comic-Con regarding Legend of Aang, the new Avatar that we have coming up in 2027, and of course the Netflix live action adaptation. So without further ado, my weeps, yip, Lego! Okay. So our first image comes to us from the official Nickelodeon Instagram page. It gives us the title of the new series called Avatar 7 Havens and a brief description of the world our new Avatar is going to be inhabiting. It says here, Avatar 7 Havens is set in a world shattered by a devastating cataclysm. A young earthbender discovers she's the new Avatar after Korra, but in this dangerous era, that title marks her as humanity's destroyer, not its savior. Okay, so a couple things with that first passage. I did read recently, I think the article was from Variety. It gave us the name of the new Avatar. Her name is Pavi, and it actually says she is a twin. She's part of a set of twins. And with my mind, I immediately went to what they can do with that. Yeah, like, you have Rava and Vatu, right? Rava representing the light and the peace side, and then there's Vatu representing chaos and destruction. And if the show goes long enough, you can really set the seeds of descent between the two twins and have an emergence of Vatu with the twin that's not the current Avatar. It's just kind of, I don't know if it's like a played out trope with twins, but the dichotomy that you can have with those two siblings, it can flush out to be something interesting. Because I'm not sure if you guys have seen Star Wars Visions, but they did something similar to this in one of those shorts. I think it was Studio Trigger, where they had two twins, one representing the two opposite sides of the Force, the light side and the dark side. So that's something, just me theory crafting what they can do with the two twins and just really set up an interesting conflict between the two siblings. Second part of this first paragraph here, it says the new Avatar after Korra, but in this dangerous era, that title marks her as humanity's destroyer, not its savior. Okay, I know when people read that, they're gonna have a field day with this, and I say that because I like The Legend of Korra, but for some reason people have an axe to grind with Korra. And when they read that statement, it makes it harder for me to defend. I mean, I say this very lightly and jokingly. I mean, it's not that serious. But I will say, like, I find myself defending The Legend of Korra a lot. To my friends, to people who are fans of the Avatar series. Reading that statement, it's just like it gives the take, people have this take that Korra is the worst Avatar. That is baffling to me. The worst Avatar? The worst Avatar. I don't know how that can possibly be. I mean, we don't even know the thousands of avatars that's been throughout the Avatar mythology. Like even before Aang, if I had to put my money on the worst Avatar, it's probably that guy who was the waterbending Avatar in the flashback, who was a surfer and let his wife die to the hands of that creepy crawly centipede spirit bug guy and took her face. I mean, I would have guessed that guy would have been the worst Avatar. He was so lackadaisical. But regardless of all that, I think Korra has some notable feats that wouldn't give her the spot of the worst Avatar. She is the first metal bending Avatar, as ancillary as that is. She is the first. She did rejoin the spirit world and the human world, in which led to the Air Nation being restored. She brought air bending back to the world. So I just think Korra deserves some respect in those regards and not being called the worst Avatar. I just think that's a little bit outlandish. You guys let me know, because I'm just confused by that. But let's continue reading on here. Hunted by both human and spirit enemies, she and her long-lost twin must uncover their mysterious origins and save the Seven Havens before civilization's last strongholds collapse. After reading that, I will say I did enjoy The Legend of Korra, but The Last Airbender definitely had more of an adventure feel to it. And I think they're getting back to it because I like the survivor element of series where it's kind of like, group versus the world. You're just moving place to place, trying to survive, but also trying to make the world a better place and accomplish the ultimate goal. I feel like that's something that The Legend of Korra kind of lacked because they were in peace times after Aang brought together the four nations, and it missed that adventure element. So I will admit that with The Legend of Korra. And it seems like Seven Havens is definitely going back to that concept, being hunted by both human and spirits. It just seems like they are going to be on the run. I think that's very intriguing to me, and I like that element of the story if they're going to go with that, just being on the run from everybody's an op. That's definitely going to be fun. And her long lost twin too. I'm hooked in. I'm interested. My question is, if we're going to this image, right? This image comes to us from San Diego Comic-Con. Released this a few weeks ago. She looks young. Maybe even younger than Aang. Like, she looks like a child. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure about what era this is possibly in, because Aang was definitely in the past, and then like we got to Korra. She seemed like to be in some type of industrial era, maybe like in the 1900s. You know what I mean? So it seems like we were progressing through history, and by the time we get to this new Avatar, it should look somewhat or fairly modern. This kind of looks like this image in the background here, right? It kind of looks like ancient Greece. You know what I mean? Like she's in the Colosseum. Maybe it's the Earth Kingdom. But even Ba Sing Se, we revisited in The Legend of Korra, it still had trains and everything. It just looks like we went backwards. But overall, regardless of what time period they're supposed to be in, I do like the image. And oh wow, she has one leg. This is gonna be interesting. She's an earthbender too. Now, can she just kind of like make it like a prosthetic earth limb? They have metal benders now too, right? They could have made like her a metal prosthetic. World is really in shambles if she's walking around with a wooden plank leg. The whole get up, you know what I mean? Like from her clothing to the guy in the back, it just looks like they're a product of the past, not where I thought they would be in this new era of the Avatar cycle. Unless Korra really shit the bed, and this is where we are now, that the world is reduced all the way back in time. Like they say, it was a major cataclysm. I'm interested to see. But let's move on to our second part of the Avatar news cycle, and that's going to be The Legend of Aang. Okay, so this film is actually going to be the first production of the new Nickelodeon division called Avatar Studios. They're going to be dedicated to creating projects within the Avatar universe. Now, I will say that I hope that they keep on some animators from Studio Mir. One thing that I can say about The Legend of Korra is that this might be a hot take, but I do think that they excelled in the animation, the choreography, just the fight sequences, and the action scenes. I think they were superior to The Last Airbender. And I don't say that lightly at all either, because The Last Airbender is still in that upper echelon of animated series. I mean, like, that show will it will live on a lot of people's hearts forever, and it still holds up today. So I don't say that very lightly when I compare the two as far as animation quality. But moving on to The Legend of Aang here, it says that this is going to be a continuation of the original series. The film is a direct continuation of Avatar The Last Airbender, and it follows the original main cast in their young adult years. So we're going to be following Aang, Katara, Toph, Zuko, and Sokka, but with some notable additions as well. Dave Bautista and Steven Yuen are going to be voice actors in this production as well. To what capacity, I have no clue, but I can't imagine that it's going to be some small role. They're not going to be, oh, my cabbages. They're not going to be the cabbage guy. You know what I mean? Maybe there are some villain roles or another heroic role. I'm not too sure, but when you get somebody like Dave Bautista and Steven Yuen, you do not waste that star talent. Okay, so yeah, this film is going to be slated for release in October 9th, 2026. But we do have some images that we can look into here. This first image right here that I saw actually a couple years ago, it shows the adult cast. This image here, I mean, this looks incredible. I love this. Look at this, man. Aang in the center right there. Sokka, the wolf tail looks like it's fully grown now. And look at that sword he got too. I never knew the name of that weapon that Sokka had in the show. What is that weapon? The little ball on the top too? I can't imagine. That thing ain't soft either. And then you got Zuko with the, woo, that hair is flowing, ain't it? Look at that. And Katara right there doing her thing, and Toph. I wonder if she's the chief of the Metal-Bending Police already. This is what I wanted. This is the equivalent of the gang in their GT years, their Dragon Ball GT years, man, because we've seen those flashbacks in The Legend of Korra. We just haven't seen Aang in his prime. You know what I mean? Like fully intact with the spirits, all 4 bending powers as well. I don't know how long this movie is going to be, but like, I could have taken the series. I would have taken another continuation in the gang here too, because at the same time, as much as I love The Legend of Korra, you know, if you're giving me like a grown-up Aang with the crew, Yeah, I would have taken that over The Legend of Korra. And again, I'm an avid defender of that series sometimes. But looking at this image, yeah, I would have taken this too, man. I'm wondering who they gonna go up against. Because who's standing up against a prime avatar and pillars of the bending communities? You know what I mean? Like, you can easily make the argument that Aang, Katara, Zuko, and Toph, in this day and age, in their prime, when they're adults, you can make the argument that they're probably the pillars in each of the four nations for their bending. But we do have some other news as well that came out, I think, a few months ago for the live action Avatar series that's going to be releasing on Netflix pretty soon. Let's take a look at that, huh? This is just going to be like a quick little tidbit of the videos, considering that it is kind of old news. You know, the casting was announced, I think it was just like last year, around September or so. But this is going to be the casting for Toph Beifong in Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender adaptation. And her name is Maya Shek. I actually seen her before. She played like a younger version of Ali Wong's character in Beef. I don't have much to go on because I think that's literally the only thing I've seen her in. But just going off of first glance, I buy it. I can see her as Toph. Yeah, I mean, I have to see her with like the blind contacts and like her hair done up, but she looks to be of Asian descent. I just have to see her in the get up, and I like the casting. My question to you guys is, did you guys enjoy season 1 of Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender? Because I'm kind of mixed on it, if I'm being completely honest. I just feel like the conglomerate between Aang, Sokka, and Katara, I don't know if they captured the same magic. I'm not asking for like one-to-one adaptations. I know you have to cut things out, make things shorter for a runtime that Netflix is giving the live action. But I feel like something was missing with the original trio. It looked like a little bit of oomph, and they can definitely grow into it. I mean, like, I try not to judge kid actors so harshly, you know what I mean? So they can definitely grow on me. I didn't hate it. I actually liked it a lot, but I just felt like with the original series, like they really captured some magic there. And I think with the newer cast, they're definitely going to be galvanizing a new fan base. And whether we like it or not, this is going to be like the Avatar for a lot of young kids out there without having seen the animated series. So with that being said, the season 2 of Avatar: The Last Airbender, how long is it going to be actually? Because the first season was 20 episodes and they had to cover a lot. You know, they went from Aang being found in the ice to all the way to the Northern Water Tribe. And I think the first season was like 20 episodes. Book 2 alone, I mean, like, you got the recovery of Appa, Azula causing havoc, and then like the stuff with Ba Sing Se. I can only imagine that the coup in Ba Sing Se is probably going to take up a lot of season 2. But even then, recruiting Toph, and then like the character turmoil with Zuko, that's going to be a whole thing in of itself too as well. I would imagine a lot of the action is probably going to be in Ba Sing Se and that storyline in the fall of Ba Sing Se. But I just wonder if they're going to split up book 2 into 2 seasons, because you really want to, just speaking to what season 1 I think kind of lacked, is a lot of those moments that we loved from season book water, whatever you want to call it. It kind of lacked a lot of flushing out of moments that I felt were kind of rushed in season 1. And again, I know they have to fit a particular time schedule with the episodes that were allowed by Netflix, but do you guys think 20 episodes similar to the season 1 is going to be enough to cover all of book 2? I hope they do it well. I'm not asking for like a one-to-one adaptation, but maybe if they keep like some of the important parts and focus on those parts that we enjoyed in book 2 and that were definitely important in book 2, is probably going to be what is going to take priority for me as a viewer of the show. But again, I did not hate season 1. I liked it. I just felt like it misses that extra oomph that I got from the original series. That is going to do it for me. I think we covered almost all of everything, unless there's some more news that I've missed from the San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, there's a lot to be excited for Avatar fans coming up in the next couple of years. Let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for the new series, the film that's coming out next year, and then the Avatar season 2 as well? Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, thank you guys for checking out this video, and we'll catch you in the next time. Bye!